Okay, hello. Welcome to Talks with Sam, living with NMOSD. Today we have a guest on, Leilah. She's going to tell us her story about being diagnosed with NMOSD. I started this podcast series so that we can bring real-time information to individuals that are living with autoimmune illnesses. Many are invisible, and so that's why we want to bring the story and spread awareness with respect to autoimmune illnesses so that friends, family, caregivers, and other people in the world, they kind of know what it's like to be diagnosed with an autoimmune illness. People are being diagnosed all the time. And I wish that there had been a channel on YouTube where I could have gotten real time information with respect to autoimmune illnesses. Now, the Facebook groups are awesome, but I just felt like this was a great avenue for people to put faces to those with autoimmune illnesses because we are true warriors and we're here and we want to spread the information. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring Leilah on and let her tell her story. So, Leilah, welcome to my podcast. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Real quick, let me do some housekeeping. I'm sorry. If this is
Mhm.
your first time stopping by the channel, please subscribe, share. If you subscribe, please make sure you hit the notification bell so that every time a podcast goes up, you're notified. And share the information because there's plenty of people out there that are looking for this information. And it also helps with the YouTube algorithm. Okay, thank you. So, Leilah, so tell us how old you are at this moment.
So I'm 23 years old.
Okay. And so let's travel back a little bit and tell us
Mhm.
how your life was before you were diagnosed with your autoimmune illness.
My life was pretty like normal, I want to say. I'm the oldest kid out of I have me, my younger sister Lauren. She's the second oldest. My middle brother Reese, and then Carter, and then my youngest brother Cross. He's six, so pretty spread apart. I was just big sister, helping with getting them to practices, school. I was also working. I was working at Crumble Cookies. I was just getting into the position of a shift supervisor, so that was really exciting, like taking on the new leadership role. I was doing all this while also attending Cal State University Bakersfield, where I was studying public health. Um, so I got my degree in May of 2025. So thankful for that.
Yay.
But yeah, so I was just, a sophomore in studying public health. I remember always being in my microbiology class, and in that class, we had to deal with like different bacteria and fungi. And I was like, man, I'm feeling like really nauseous. But like, usually it's my mom that's more sensitive to smells and is always like, oh, I'm getting nauseous. Like, I can't with the smells. And so it was really weird to me that I was like feeling so nauseous all the time around that time. I believe that was like around March. Um, and I remember after that class, one day I had to leave a little bit early so that way I could go to a family funeral that I had to go to. And the funeral was just a far, like maybe I want to say like 20-30 minutes away. And while I was driving there, I was feeling really, really nauseous. Like I was texting my mom and I was like, hey, I'm feeling nauseous. I'm not really feeling that well. And we didn't find out until later on that that was actually an early symptom of NMO. That
Now,
I
what
was,
year was this? I'm sorry.
this was 2022. Or
Okay.
yeah, that was 2022. I was thinking like was it the year prior, but no, 2022. So that was the
Okay.
same year that I was diagnosed, just a few months prior to being diagnosed actually.
Okay.
Um, but other than those like experiences, I was like, my life was just pretty normal. I was a student running around busy, hanging out with friends, hanging out with my former boyfriend. I remember once that year was that that semester was over, I was so excited because I had just made the Spirit Squad, the cheer team at Cal State Bakersfield. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this is really exciting. Like, this is something new that I get to like try out. I had cheered prior, like when I was in elementary school, and when I was in high school, I cheered for a couple of years, and I was like, wow, like how cool is it that I'm cheering for college? Because like that's like big leagues. That's,
Big.
that's like what I
Yeah.
felt. So my dad was pretty excited. My mom was excited. My family was all excited. They're like, hey, like she's gonna have to cheer at those basketball games that are out of state. Like that's pretty cool. Maybe we'll get to go. And I also had like a trip coming up with my former boyfriend and friends. Like it was just like a lot of stuff that I was looking forward to. And I was just excited to be done with school, and I finished off with the good grades. Like school, I was always stressed out so much with school, just trying to get good grades and stay on top of my studies while also working. And so I was also excited about starting to get more into the leadership role at my work, also because I was like, ooh, that means I can work more hours, and then I'm going to get more money for those summer plans that I have coming up. So it was just like a lot of exciting things coming up. And it was like the week, the week that I was supposed to leave for my trip where I got sick. Like it was maybe I want to say like a day or two before when stuff really started to get weird. I want to say like middle of July, like early July, I attended like a birthday dinner with my former boyfriend and for his friend's birthday. And when we were at the birthday dinner, his friend was like, oh yeah, we ate here before, but we had gotten food poisoning. And I was like, why are we eating here then? I was like, why we couldn't pick somewhere else? I was like, why can't we eat somewhere
You
else, guys?
think?
I'm like, this is the only place that we could have eaten at. But they had said they got food poisoning. I was like, oh well, like just brushed it over. We still had a really good night and ended up going to the movies um right after the dinner. And then, getting ready for the trip, I'm like, I'm not feeling good. I'm getting really nauseous. I was throwing up like nonstop. I couldn't keep anything down. Anything that I would eat, drink, it was just coming right back up. And it was really weird. I started getting like all of these weird symptoms. Then came the nonstop hiccups. That's like one of the early signs as
Yes.
well. Just the nonstop hiccups. And I just felt really lightheaded, really weak. I had taken 2 trips to the urgent care, and they couldn't find anything wrong with me. They were thinking, oh, maybe she has a UTI. Maybe you have food poisoning. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess that makes sense. Oh, actually, no, maybe you're dehydrated. And I'm like, yeah, I would be dehydrated because I can't like keep any food, anything down. So it was really weird. I had made those 2 trips, and it was just like they couldn't really do anything. So they were just giving me the IV for fluids, and then they would send me home. They had sent in an order for a medication to be picked up. And this whole time while I'm inside the urgent care, my former boyfriend, he's just sitting outside in his car because it was still like heavy COVID. So they
Yeah.
were like, oh, we can't just have him sitting in the waiting room. And I didn't even want him sitting in the waiting room because I was worried
Mhm.
like you might catch something while you're in there. We have a trip that we going on in a couple of days. I'm still in my head thinking that, oh, I'm gonna be able to go on this trip. And so he's just waiting in the car, and I had let him know like, oh, they had sent some medication over at this pharmacy. We're gonna pick it up and then like just go home. And this was the day before that we were supposed to leave for the trip. So my parents are like, are you going to be able to go? I don't think you should be going. And so we come back after picking up the medication, and I get out of the car, and instantly I can't really see anything. And I just ended up collapsing on the floor. So from there, my boyfriend, runs in, and he tries to get my dad's attention. He's like banging on the door, and my younger brother ends up answering the door. And
Mhm.
so he tells my dad like what's going on, and they end up having to call an ambulance. And from there, it was just downhill. I was in the hospital here in my hometown in Bakersfield, but they weren't able to do anything. They weren't able to give my family any answers other than, yeah, maybe she has a UTI, maybe she has food poisoning. We don't know what's going on. So I had to get taken to a hospital in LA. It was the Kaiser KALMC, I think that's what it's called. I can't remember because, like I said, my memory is still so hazy from that time just because of how sick I was. But from there, my condition began to worsen. I was in the ICU. I temporarily lost my ability to walk, swallow properly. I had to have a feeding tube put inside of my nose. My hands were weak. My talking became like slurred because just like the weakness from just like the whole attack, it made everything weak. My bladder control, bowel control, pretty much I had to relearn everything. So I spent some time at the ICU in that hospital in LA, and they kept saying, "Oh, we're not sure what's going on. Maybe she has lupus, maybe she has COVID." And I did catch COVID when I was in the ICU from what they say, but we're not even sure if that was really the case. I feel like they were just throwing around a lot of stuff, like trying to look for answers. And my
Mm-hmm.
parents were becoming really frustrated because they were like, this is our daughter. We need answers. We want to know what's going on with her. And they couldn't really provide those answers. But eventually they were able to, my mom says how they were able to get something to click. She was talking to one of the um, doctors, and she had said how I had hiccups. And the doctor was like, "You said hiccups?" And she's like, "Yes, like what's the big deal about the hiccups?" But that is kind of what put it all together for them, and that's where I was able to get that diagnosis. From there, I my condition was starting to get better. They were able to from there like get me on the medications that I needed to get on. I did have to do some rounds of chemotherapy. And I did do some occupational therapy during my time at the hospital in LA. But my main like recovery was when I was brought back home to Bakersfield, and I had to stay at Encompass Rehabilitation Center for about 3 months. I was able to come home in September of 2024. So that's September. It was September 15th. I was able to return home to my family. It was like a really big um, celebration moment, but it was just a lot because even though I did spend time in the rehabilitation center, they were just teaching me, how to walk to the bathroom by myself, how to even stand up properly, using a walker, going from using the walker to transferring to the wheelchair. How do I get in and out of cars properly? How do I eat right to make sure that I'm swallowing properly? My hand movements, working on my memory. There was like a lot that had to be done before I was able to come home. And even after coming home, those are still things that I struggled with. But doing outpatient physical therapy and speech therapy really did help me. And once I was able to kind of get those things worked on and improved, I was able to start taking classes again at my Cal State University Bakersfield. I started off taking like one or two classes because I was really worried about like the workload and how it was going to be with my memory and my classes. Was I going to forget anything? So it was just a really long process. It was slow, but we were able to make it through because eventually I was able to graduate. Like I said, in May of 2020.
Congratulations. Yes.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so that was really big, really emotional time. I remember my mom coming over and she was starting to get teary eyed, and I'm like, "Mom, we just paid for this makeup. Like, please don't make me cry." But yeah, I'm still on lots of medications that I take daily, and then I do get the Rituxan infusion every 6 months, just to make sure that those to try to prevent possibility of relapse, which I know like even with the infusion and medication some people still experience, but it's just kind of like a preventative to help in any way that we can with the Rituxan infusion. My neurologist has seen that many of her patients do get a lot better with that medication, so that's just what I've been on for these past couple years, and just the medications.
So the rituximab is working good for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the only thing is how I always say like vulnerable my immune system gets afterwards, especially with having my younger brothers. I do have to make sure we have hand wipes in the car, hand sanitizer everywhere, lots and lots of Lysol, lots of face masks. My grandma
Hmm.
goes into, I call her my Mimi. She goes into severe Mimi mode. She has cans of Lysol with her, and she has a bunch of hand wipes that she orders. My mom orders a bunch of hand wipes too, and they're like, keep these in your purse, keep these in your car, keep these with you. I have little hand sanitizers that I keep in my purse. My grandma had just came back from Japan a couple months ago, and she brought me a bunch of
Hmm.
face masks, and she's like, these are going to be, you need to wear them for your infusion. So my family's really, they've been really supportive and really helpful. It was just a really hard time just having to be away from my siblings for so long. Because
Yes.
during that time when I was in the hospital, it was COVID, like I said. So I'm really close to my siblings now, and it's like I wasn't able to see them like at all. They weren't able to come see me in the hospital just because of limitations in the ICU, and even at Encompass COVID regulations, I wasn't able to see them because
Hmm.
they weren't over 18. So I wasn't able to see any of them, just videos and pictures. And the youngest brother, he had a birthday while I was at the rehabilitation center, so that was like really hard for me. Um, so I'm just really grateful to be home. And at times when they're getting on my nerves, I try to remember I'm like, there was a time when I was just really wanting to see them. But yeah, my brothers and my siblings, I love them so much. And like my family, like it really hurts me whenever I hear stories about other NMOSD patients and how they didn't have like such a supportive family who really was able to understand what was going on with them and how severely sick they were. And I just couldn't
Yeah.
imagine being in that position, not having my family by my side during that time. So yeah.
Yeah. It's rough for some people.
Hmm.
And you got diagnosed, yeah, at a time where it was really bad because you
Yeah.
had COVID and then all of the restrictions, um, and the support that was needed. So imagine those who were diagnosed around that time and they didn't have a support system. So that just made it that much more of a lonely journey
Yeah.
for them. But it's good. So your friends, how did your friends,
That's
take the information? Did you lose any friends? Did any of them
yeah.
fade away, or were they a pretty good support system?
No. At the time when I was away in the hospital in LA, my former boyfriend didn't come and visit me. So that's like really hard, like for me to talk about. But yeah,
Okay.
he never came and saw me. Um, my best friends didn't come and see me, and then some of my closest friends that I consider now, the only information that they got was from the ex-boyfriend. So I don't think they were even able to understand like how sick I was, because they didn't have contact with my mom just because of our friendship was so new. I met these friends at work. They were also shift supervisors.
Okay.
And so the only information that they got was through the boyfriend, and he wasn't even there, so they weren't really getting much from him. So it wasn't until I got home that they understood like how sick I was. But the moment that I got home, they were there the next weekend.
Okay.
They came and they sat in the living room with me, making me laugh, making me smile. Like, I appreciate them so much. Like, they they were the friends that I needed during that time, and my mom thanks them so much as well. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I get emotional because one of the friends that was there for me during that time, unfortunately did pass away. He got
Well.
into a motorcycle accident,
Mm.
and so but he was one of the friends that was there for me during that time, would make me laugh like uncontrollably. And we're all still really close. It was the friend that passed away, his cousin, and then that cousin's girlfriend. So I'm still really close with them. Their names are Cece, my best friend. I love her so much. My
Hey,
friend
Cece.
my friend William, love him so much. They're like the most amazing friends. They're always by my side no matter what, asking me, how are you doing after infusions? Do you need anything? Cece actually went with me during this most recent infusion, was by my
Mm-hmm.
side, taking care of me. And Jordan, my friend that passed away, he was just always the person to make us laugh during that time.
Mm-hmm.
He would say the most out of pocket things, but would make you laugh, would make my parents laugh. But yeah, so I feel like without those three friends, like I wouldn't have been able to get my spark back, as my mom says. Like
Yeah.
they mean a lot to me. They have a close spot in my heart. And so even though they weren't there when I was sick,
Mm-hmm.
they had a valid reason for it. And
Yeah.
the minute that I was home, I mean, like the minute that I was home, they were there the next week. They were like, my friend Cece always said, like, we were like itching to see you. We were like, okay, let's give her space while she's home. Let her be with her family. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be there as soon as I can. So yeah, they mean a lot to me. But my parents were very disappointed with close friends that I did have that weren't there, and they were very hurt by it. And I feel like that's something that they're still trying to like heal from as well. Like
Mm-hmm.
I guess my grandma tells me how upset how upset they were. Like she has all these friends. Where are they at? Why aren't they here to see her? And I feel more forgiving just because I don't remember a lot of that time.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I wasn't thinking like, why isn't so and so here? I was just more confused and not really all there. So I feel like that's why I'm not so hard about it. But yeah,
And
my
I bring that part up because it's something that many of us have gone through.
mhm,
We had people that we thought were friends, and then when we, especially close ones, and then when something so tragic, or so dark happens to us, where do they go? They disappear, and sometimes we ask, why, and we don't really have the answers, but I wanted that component to be talked about because other people need to know that they're not alone when that happens to them, because it's
mhm,
something common that happens. You were blessed to have another set of friends that stepped up for you, and these were friends that you just met. So it says a lot. And so I have this saying, and it says, well, I came across this saying, and it says, in prosperity, our friends know us, and in adversity, we know our friends. Meaning when we going through something, you find out who's really there for you,
you do.
and then when you have things to give, and you giving and you giving, then yeah, they know you because they know they can pull and extract from you. And so that's why I wanted to ask about the support system and the friends. And it's excellent that you had your parents support, and they know all about the autoimmune disease. And some people have family members and they have the autoimmune diseases, and the family still probably couldn't even tell you the name of the autoimmune disease. And so some people are just like, well, and again, we this is like an invisible autoimmune disease unless you
Yeah,
are in a wheelchair where it's evident. And so then when people see you, they be like, "Oh, well, you don't look sick." And those are some comments that we just, that's a
trying
pet peeve of
scares
mine. It's
really.
like,
Yeah.
what does sick look like, and what is that comment? So we're all human. So I try to give grace, and a lot of times people, I know of other people that have been diagnosed with NMOSD, and they don't even want to take the time to explain what it is, because some people just are not going to get it. So they take the shortcut and they just say, well, it's MS
That's what
or
I say.
it's like MS. That's what I say. I say, well,
It's like
it's the
MS to
big.
keep it short.
I say it's like the big ugly cousin to MS.
Yeah,
Basically.
I've
Now,
had
just to
some
go back
experience.
just a little bit, when you were in the hospitals, when they sent you down to LA, did they do MRIs?
I believe there was a lot of tests that they did. I believe they did do MRIs, and I believe they also did a spinal tap. Um,
Okay.
I can't even tell you about how the spinal tap was. I don't remember any of that. I don't even
Okay.
remember being the only thing that I remember when I was given the chemotherapy was like my mom next to me, and I remember her like holding my hand and like feeling her hands, and I was just crying because I was scared. I was like, yeah, I've only ever heard scary things about chemotherapy, so it was just that's like the
Mhm.
one thing that I thought of. And I remember my mom like brushing my hair and like pieces of hair falling out, and she's trying to like stay calm and my telling my grandma like don't react, don't say anything, like just leave it. And also during that time, like my eyes became crossed. They were like stuck crossed permanently, and so
Really?
yeah, so it was something that I mean, like I couldn't see myself. I could see that I was seeing double, but I just didn't know until, recovering how bad it was in the stories of what they tell me. So,
Wow.
yeah, I can't remember like a time that they did the MRIs, but I remember
Okay.
just like being woken up like late at night and having to be taken down to go do tests and being woken up because I was having to get blood drawn. I really, really hate
Yes.
getting blood drawn now. Yeah, it's like a whole deal because I'll have to tell them, like, hey, my veins are really dried out. You have to go in my arm. And some of them, in my hand, some of them will listen, but some of them will be like, oh, I want to try to go in your arm first. I'm like, okay, it's not going to work. So, yeah,
And you
oh,
let them try anyway?
yeah.
Girl.
My mom says she's like, you need to get a voice, be an advocate for yourself. So that's something that I'm still trying to learn with
That is where
doing.
I'm getting ready to go next.
Yeah.
So for all of those listening, even if you don't have an autoimmune illness, you go to the doctor for anything. We have got to be our own best advocates. I advocated so much for myself. Sometimes you go down a rabbit hole because they'll tell you one thing and we know our bodies. Nobody knows our bodies better than us.
hmm
So I don't allow them to tell me, oh, it's just all in your head. No, I'm feeling something. So I need for you to check it. So yeah, I agree with your mom. You have got to advocate. I teach my daughter that all the time. We got to speak up because at the end of the day, they work for us. And if they don't do a good job, then okay, next. I got to find somebody who is in alignment with me.
hmm
So keep that in mind. Now you said you still take other medications as well?
Yeah, so it's like a whole list. I hate every morning I'm like having to take deep breaths and get like a type of yogurt or something to take my medications with because at a time when I was first starting to take the medications, I was throwing up whenever I was taking the medications. Then I would get scared. Oh my gosh, why am I throwing up again? Is something
Mm.
happen again? And then I'd have to tell myself, no, it's just from the medications. But I every morning I take metformin, doxystate sodium, duloxetine, oxybutynin, and magnesium oxide. I also take Lomera. Some of the medications are for weight loss because I did gain a lot of weight from the steroid treatments and chemotherapy that I had to
Mhm.
do at the time. So it was like a lot of weight gain and it was really quick. So that is also something that like affects me like mentally and just like trying to get better as well because I do have limitations whenever I do work out. I'm not able to work out as like vigorously.
Mhm.
So I've been doing like Pilates classes and I've been really enjoying those. So just hopefully that can help as well. But it's just those medications that I take and then I do the Rituxan infusion every 6 months.
Now, have you changed diet at all
I've
to try to help
tried.
the weight loss?
I've tried, but I'm just not. It's a whole thing. I'm not good with that. We were trying to do like meal preps at the time, and then we would end up not, like, they would all get eaten up. So it was just trying to do, like, for work. Now I always bring like a little lean cuisine with me to work. I like the lean cuisines, but yeah, it's just like stubborn weight, I feel like, because I go to the gym like almost every single day, and I'll lose like a couple pounds and then they come back. So it's just something that I deal with. I was on Ozempic for a while, and then my pancreas did get inflamed. So I had
From
to
that.
do, yeah, so I'm not able to take any of those medications that I know for now. I do have a appointment coming up with my doctor, um, to hopefully see like what we can do next, because um, I'm just not seeing like as much of weight loss. Like my mom says that she sees it in me. She's like, it's also, like, my doctor has said, it's not. It's also like how you fit into your clothes as well, how you
Yeah.
look. Also, it's not just about what you see on the scale. And my
Hmm.
mom has told me that too, and I'm like, yeah, I know, but we say that I look different, which I can see in some pictures. I see like my face. I'm like, wow, it's not as bigger. It's not as big. And, these pants fit a little bit loose. But just still, whenever I go to the doctor and I get on the scale, it's like the same or pounds.
Yes, stop looking at that scale. I was scale queen. I was
Yeah.
scale. Ooh, every morning I get on the scale. But let me share something with you real quick. Hold on. Where's my book? Give me just a second. I should have had it already over here. Oh, here it is. So for me, with the steroids, I had always been like 160. I went up to about 204 pounds. And I had, what they call moon face. That's a different
Mm-hmm.
type of weight that we put on. And so I came across this book, the Autoimmune Solution. I don't know if you've seen this.
Mm-mm.
And so I read this book like the Bible. And once I started tapering off the steroids, the weight just started melting off. But what happened was I started following what was in this book, and I went sugar free, dairy free, gluten
Mm-hmm.
free, kind of every kind of free you could think
Mm-hmm.
of. I was free. I only drank water. And I mean, the pounds started falling off so much, so I started getting concerned. So I reached out to my primary doctor. I said, I'm losing weight. What's going on? She said, well, how's your diet? What are you eating? And I told her, I'm like, maybe salmon and spinach, or broccoli and grass fed ground beef patty. But she was like, that's good because it's healthy
Mm-hmm.
eating. But, I get, I just no carbs or anything. And so she's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, you probably not eating, enough.
Mm-hmm.
And so in order to satisfy my curiosity, because I'm like, okay, I hope I don't have, something else going on that's making me drop this weight like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I went the cheat route. I said, well, let me see if I can gain some weight. And I went to the cupcakes and the donuts and I just backslid all the way. And guess what? That worked. I put those unhealthy pounds right back on. So
Oh.
for me, so if you up to it, check out that book
Mm-hmm.
and maybe that'll help. But yeah, the autoimmune protocol. I don't know how I came across her book, but I suggest that to people who want to lose weight. And it also helped me wing off of some of the medications that I was taking also.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not a doctor, you check with your physician, but that might help you as well because we can go to the gym, but if the diet is not correct,
Mm-hmm.
then it just is a longer journey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you could send me that book, I would appreciate it. I would love to look into that.
Yeah, I'll text you the information or the link to it. Um, Okay. And so now today you're doing better,
Mm-hmm.
extremely better. You have your degree. You have your new friend. Are you still at Crumble Cookie?
No, so I did actually stop working there in 2023, like late 2023. It was just a lot still, like with recovering. I wasn't
Yeah.
able to, do as much. We would used to have to lift this big old mixing bowl. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to do that no more. It was just a lot. I did
Yeah.
spend some time working there and at Starbucks at the same time. And from working at Starbucks, then I was like, oh, I'm gonna try something. Let's get away from food. So then I started working at Victoria's Secret for a while, and I ended up coming across a receptionist job. So I'm working right now as a receptionist at Massage Envy, which I love. I love working there. I have like an amazing team, and I feel like my manager there is really understanding of my
Mm-hmm.
disease. Like when I first met her, and just um, being able to talk to her about it. She's always understood, and especially
Okay.
all the girls up in the front, they're always like, if you're feeling sick, if you're not feeling well, you just let us know. If you have a doctor's appointment, let us know. We'll make it work. We'll switch shifts. We'll do whatever we need to do. So I really love my team there. And
Okay.
I also do work at UPS right now. So I'm having those two jobs. So Massage Envy as a receptionist and UPS as a shipping
Okay.
clerk. Yeah, so I started working there in October. So just working, helping my brothers out, taking them to school, taking them to practice. I got to pick brother up for a hair appointment at around 12 p.m. today. So,
Okay. You have
yes.
full schedule going on.
Yeah, little brother just went over to grandma's house. I was like, I have like something that I need to do. So it's great like having my siblings and just being able to be with them. And I do have to take moments where I'm like, okay, it's okay.
Yes,
Let me
we
calm
do.
down. Let me calm down.
Yes. We got to listen
especially
to
with the
ourselves.
especially with the middle brother. He just started junior high school, so I feel like he's getting a little bit more snappy. And then my other
Uh-oh.
brother, he's a freshman now. So me and my sister, whenever she's home, sometimes I'll be like, girl, do you see what you left me to deal with? So
She's like, that's all you now.
yeah, so but it is great, during the time after I got sick, my grandparents, they used to live about 20 minutes away from us. So whenever we did go over their house, which was a
Hmm.
lot, I'm very close with my grandparents and my mom is very close with her parents. We would like pack a whole bag just to go over there for the day if we're going to have dinner over there. And
Hmm.
so it was going to be a lot having to leave their kids just to come and see me at the hospital in LA. So there was a point where it was like, why don't you guys just move in with us? So we actually did get a house built for them. So they live in our backyard, actually. So I'm even closer to my Mimi and my Papa now. So I love that so much. Like
That's
they are such,
awesome.
yeah, they are such a huge support system for me. Like if I'm having a bad day, I always know that I can go and talk to my parents, of course, and I know that I can
Hmm.
always lean on my grandma and my grandpa. Like I love my Mimi and my Papa so much, and I
That's
feel like me,
great.
yeah, me and the youngest are like glued to their hips. I'm always going over there. If I have an off day, I'm like seeing what Mimi's doing for the day, or I'm checking
Hmm.
on my pop and if I come home from lunch, I'm like, "Hi, pops! Like, what are you doing?" Like, I'm just always
Hmm.
checking in on them and just seeing whatever I can do to help them and help my parents. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm.
So the purpose of this platform is for people to know that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
There is. That's
When
something
we
that
are
I see.
going through it, when we're in it and we're going through it, sometimes we don't see
Hmm.
that there's light at the end of the tunnel. So you are here and living proof, lived experience that there's that light at the end of the tunnel.
Hmm.
And so you let people know there is light.
Yeah. I remember being in the hospital and just telling my mom, like, I'm tired. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, And I remember there was times when I first came home and I would just keep telling myself, like, I wish I would have just passed away from it. Like, it was hard. Like, there was lots of times where I went through like depression, dealing with this autoimmune disease. Um, but luckily with therapy and just with the amazing support system that I have, and also being able to connect with people through the Gunthy Jackson Foundation. My mom met this amazing woman named Corey, um,
Okay.
when she was when I was in the hospital, when she was just trying to learn and figure out like what is NMOSD, because all of the things that she was seeing were the not so good parts of NMOSD. But through meeting Corey and being connected through the Gunthy Jackson Foundation, she was able to learn more and be able to see those positive sides of NMOSD, getting better. What does recovery look like? And so
Mm-hmm.
just being able to be connected through the Gunthy Jackson Foundation and meet so many other amazing people, like Corey and her daughter Meg, they're amazing. Meg is like around my age. So
Okay.
being able to connect with her, like really connect with her, and my mom being able to connect with her mom, Corey, I feel like that really helped us heal in a sense. And just now I'm on the Patient Advocacy Council for the Guthrie Jackson Foundation. And I feel like that's also given me lots of many great opportunities, especially with my degree being in public health. I feel like that's something that I want to pursue further. I want to be able to be an advocate for other people that have disabilities and let them know, like you said, I've said that so many times, like that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. If I could go back in time and tell myself, like, you're going to get through this, you're going to be able to walk again, you're going to walk the stage and graduate. Like, I wish that I could have been able to tell my younger self that during the early days of being diagnosed, because it's true. It takes time. And like my mom says, small steps, but you get through it.
Now, how long were you in the were paralyzed? Do you remember?
Um, for a while, because when I came home, I was still using wheelchair. Like whenever I would go out, I was using
Mm-hmm.
wheelchair, but then I was able to go from the wheelchair to the walker. But I still have really bad like drop foot, especially like if I
Okay.
do a more vigorous workout, I'll start to limp. My mom's like, "Hey sis, like did you work out a bit too hard?" Or she's like, "What's going on? Like make sure you rest." She's always having to tell me make sure you rest. So I want to say I was in the wheelchair for like maybe three months. It just took some time. Like from like being home, I would use the wheelchair, and then like soon I was able to just start using the walker instead. And then I remember my mom told me one day I was in my room, and she had came in my room and I was walking, but I wasn't using the wheelchair. I was just in my room though and doing that. And she was like, Leilah. She didn't want to say it loud and freak me out and make me fall or
Yeah.
anything. But she's like, Leilah, what are you doing? And I was like, folding laundry. I think I was like folding laundry or doing something. And she's like,
Mm-hmm.
this, you're walking, you're not using your walker. And I was like, oh yeah, I always do this when I'm in my room. And she's like, I didn't know that, Leilah. That's amazing. And like she like kind of freaked out for a minute while trying to stay calm. And I'm like, oh yeah.
It
So
was just it was second nature to you at that
yeah,
point.
I was like, oh, I guess I just didn't realize that. So it's just like little steps. And, now I do have like a handicap placard in my car. My friends get really
Okay.
excited whenever I bring that out. I'm like, hey, I got the handicap placard, guys. So I bring that with me if I remember to. But for the most part, usually I'll park in handicap spots, but especially if that leg is giving me trouble, but sometimes if it's like, oh, I can't find a spot, I'm like, it's fine. I'm like, that's just extra steps for me. But it's just like small little changes like that
Mm-hmm.
I had to go through. But I feel like those changes like have really helped because it does take a little bit longer for my body to recover, especially when I'm always on go mode. Like I said, my mom's always like,
Yes.
rest,
Yes.
take time, Leilah. Give yourself time to rest. Give yourself time to heal. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I always tell people I don't do anything fast.
Yeah.
If I'm going somewhere, I need to start getting ready about 2 hours ahead of time
Thank you.
because I am going to I am not going to rush. You cannot invite me anywhere at the last minute because it's not going to happen.
If I rush, I might fall. Or I'm when I get ready, especially if I feel bold enough to take the time to straighten my hair, oh my goodness, I am sweating. I have to have a whole fan in my room. My brother has this fan in his room, and every time I'm getting ready to blow dry my hair, I'm like, "Hey, can you bring that fan in here?" He's like, "Oh," I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, "Please, I need it. Like, I need it because I'm about to be dripping in sweat." So yeah,
Yes, too hot.
it's small
So your
changes that I have to be
doctor,
aware of.
excuse me, before I let you go, does your doctor specialize in NMO or
Yeah,
MS?
yeah, she does. She does specialize in NMO and MS.
Okay.
She specializes specifically that. She's a neurologist, Dr. Langer. She's amazing. She was able to
Okay.
start me on treatment like immediately, and she was able to help my mom like with understanding what was going on. And she's just an amazing doctor. I meet with her every couple of months, like before I get my infusions. We meet
Okay.
over Zoom because it is hard for me to travel down there. But I did travel
Okay.
down there. I don't remember what month it was, but I did travel down there to get to see her and to give
Mm-hmm.
my ICU team of nurses a Daisy Award, actually. So that was like a really
Oh.
great time. It was emotional being there and like um, being in that place, but it was also just really great to see all of them and just give thanks to all the nurses and the ICU team that took care of me and took care of my family during that really hard time.
That was nice. That was
Yeah.
awesome. Well, I loved your story.
Thank you so
It's
much.
so familiar in so many ways.
Hmm.
And so it's just my prayer that these videos get out so that people who have been diagnosed and like I said are caregivers can see that there is actual light at the end of the tunnel.
Hmm.
Even if they remain in wheelchairs, there's still a full life that they can, that they can lead. And for those who have friends or family members that have been diagnosed, I strongly suggest that they do the research, find out about the disease so that they can have more empathy and more patience and understanding for those of us who have been diagnosed and be that support system that, many people need. And
Definitely.
so, is there anything else you would like to say, add before we
Uh,
disconnect?
yeah, just that if there's anybody out there watching that's been newly diagnosed, whether you have NMOSD, MS, MOGAD, anything, just know that you can always reach out to me. I can be there for you because I definitely know what it is like at that time of being newly diagnosed and feeling alone and feeling like nobody's going to understand you. And just to let you know that you do have a support system. There's a community out there that would love to meet you and love to get connected with you. If you would ever like to connect with me, I do have an Instagram that is solely just for my NMOSD. It's Leilah NMO Warrior. If any of you would like to reach out to me and just connect with me and tell me your story and get to know each other, I'm always here to be a support and be a comfort for you just to help during that time.
You said that's Layla NMO Warrior. I think I'm
Yes,
connected to
ma'am.
you already. Okay, I'm gonna put that in the description also.
Yeah,
So yes, well, thank you so much once again.
of
And
course.
for all you people out there is life at the end of the tunnel. There's light at the end of the tunnel.
Both.
So yes, life and light,
Yes,
exactly. All right, well, thank you so much for being on, and I want
of
you to
course.
enjoy your day and have a wonderful day on purpose.
Thank you so
Okay.
much. Thank
All
you.
righty. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thanks.
Do I